This tutorial will show you how to use shapes in Photoshop. Shapes are a recent addition to Photoshop, and they introduced the flexibility of vector paths to Photoshop. So what I like to do with shapes is, well, let's create a new file, 640 by 480 at 72 pixels per inch. I'm going to go to Photoshop Preferences, Guides, Grid, Slices, and Count. And we're going to create a grid, and we're going to create a grid line every 8 pixels with 8 subdivisions. This grid is going to give me a grid line at every single pixel in my Photoshop file. The reason why I chose 8 pixels with 8 subdivisions was that 8 pixels increments relates well with icons that we'll be designing for this exercise. And 1 pixel increments is what we want our pen tool to snap to. Now we're going to go to View, make sure Snap is checked, and choose Snap to, make sure Grid has a check line next to it. Then we just choose Show Grid, and you can notice the key command is Apple or Command, or on a PC Control single quote. And then you'll see your grid showing up 1 line every 8 pixels. If we zoom way in on this, you notice that every 8 pixel increment also has 8 subdivisions which relate to each single pixel in the document. Now I just want to demonstrate the difference here. If we go to View and we turn the snap off and we go to our Shape tool, which is down here, there's a bunch of different choices. Let's just choose the regular rectangle tool. I'm going to draw a rectangle. Let's make sure that black is selected as the foreground color. And I'm not going to line it up right inside the pixel. And you can see that the edge of the rectangle isn't sharp. It's been anti-aliased because the vector line falls between 2 pixels. So there's no way for Photoshop to determine whether a pixel should be black or white. So it makes it somewhere in between, which is a gray. When you're designing icons, though, you want your edges to be as crisp as possible. So let's show the correct way of doing that. We would undo, and let's go to View, and we'll choose Snap this time. Now my mouse is going to automatically click on the pixel, and you notice that as you drag, it sort of steps. Now you see we have a much more sharp rectangle. So when you're designing icons, you have to be very careful to make sure that your shapes are snapping to those rectangle or to those grid increments. For instance, if we were to draw a circle, you can see that that's a very crisp circle. Although some of the edge pixels are gray, it's as crisp as it can be. If we turn off View, Snap, and let's draw another circle below which doesn't snap to a incremental pixel, the result is a fuzzier looking circle when we view it at 100%. And let's just demonstrate that. View, let's hide the guides, or hide the grid. And notice there's also this little line around the circle that I just drew. That line means that I am currently working with the vector for this circle. I can turn off that line by going over to the Layers palette and just pressing its vector mask thumbnail so that it no longer has sort of a border around it. Now you see that line is gone. Let's view this at 100%. I'm going to highlight the number here and type in 100. Now you will notice that the top circle is slightly crisper than the bottom circle if you have a discerning eye, which I do. I hope you do too.